been a long time. Andres Luna King here.
Moon Prism Power!
A poem from my book, Isolated. This is like a perfect title with everything that is going on right now in the world with this coronavirus pandemic. I wrote this book last August, so it's just crazy that like now a lot of people in like different countries and even here are like isolating themselves and are doing like the self quarantine. So it's just like really crazy that I even thought of this title because I've always stated in my videos like I always isolated myself anyways. So with this that's going on now, it's like, oh, this is perfect for me. Like I could definitely do this if they actually do a nation wide lockdown for supposedly they're gonna do one for 14 days. I don't know how true that is, but if they do, I'll be perfectly fine with it. As long as I get paid from my job, I will be perfectly happy to do that. I would love to do that because I could do a lot of spiritual work. Like I could do so many things. I would love that. And especially if it's gonna be good, in order to like keep this thing on, in control. But yeah. Cop Isolated through lulu.com, or you can email me at cecilialuis22@gmail.com. Hit me up on Instagram. All of that will be all of my names through social media will be in this video. I'm no longer going to water myself down. I'm no longer going to put on this superhero costume. I'm no longer going to continue to try to be a better person. I am what I am. I will elevate and I will grow. I'm not broken. I will walk in my own power. I will own my shit. I will stay true to who I really am. I have to become unapologetic. So I wrote this poem on June 26th of last year. Basically, I wrote it because I just felt that I was at a point in my spiritual journey and just as a person, just growing and kind of breaking down and doing shadow work and, figuring out like what really ticks me off, like the deep shit, like, stuff like that, like doing shadow work, going through like my past trauma and the reason why I act the way I act in relationships, X, Y, and Z. I just came to a point that I was just like, you know what? Like, I always felt like I was always trying to be like this good guy and always trying to be like this superhero and always trying to be basically like a Captain Save-A-Ho, as people say. I always felt like I was always overextending myself with people that I'm not going to say necessarily didn't deserve it, but just like they didn't take the time to like really get to know me, or they didn't take the time to like really appreciate me. They didn't really give me the same energy that I was giving them. And like I said, I just got to the point that I was just like, fuck it. Like I'm not, because I feel like for me it was a facade. Like I feel like I wasn't being authentic. I felt like I was doing it just because I wanted people to like me and I wanted people to fill in a void that I felt when I was a child, because I didn't get a lot of attention. I didn't really have like a lot of I didn't feel like I had a lot of love around me. Like I just felt like I was around, like, especially with my family, like from my mom's side, I just felt like it was just very much like, oh, this is how we should act. Like, it was just an automatic thing. Like, okay, like Hispanics are very big with hospitality. So it's like, it was always like, oh, of course you come over, I feed you, you know, that's it. Like, it was never, a genuine how are you. It was never a genuine anything that you need, I'll be there for you. And granted, actions speak louder than words, and I'm not saying that my family from that side or even from my father's side, like I'm not saying that they wouldn't be there for me, but it just also showed in a lot of actions and the way that I read their energy, that it was very superficial and surface. It was very like it was more like an obligation. And that's how I kind of grew up, that I felt like I had to be so hospitable with people, and I felt like I always had to be like, oh, let me be nice, let me be nice, let me be nice. And I am a Libra rising too, so Libra rising also like likes to be like, and likes to be, you know, kind of like a people pleaser. And I was like, I got to a point that I was like, fuck that shit. Like, you know, it's something I'm still trying to work on. Like, even at work, like, I catch myself like, well, I used to, because I kind of stopped it now, but I always catch myself like always saying hi to everybody and trying to be nice to everybody. And it's just like with people that don't even do that for me. Like, you know, it gets tiring having to like the simple things, like always having to go say good morning to somebody, like something as small as that. Like, why am I always the one that has to go say hi, good morning to you? Why am I always the one that's trying to like brighten up your day and make you feel, you know, good? And it's like, no, like you could come say good morning to me sometimes, you could come give me a hug sometimes. Like, it was just little shit like that that kind of was making me feel like, why am I always doing this for people? And that's why I wrote that poem, because it's just like, let me take this mask off, because essentially we all wear a mask. Let me take this mask off, let me just be myself. I don't need everyone to like me, because if everyone likes me, then there's something wrong with me. You know what I mean? I have to realize that not everybody's gonna like me. Not everybody's gonna want to be around me. Not everybody's gonna care for my opinions, for my well-being. Like, that's just the way that life works. And no matter how pleasant I think I am, no matter how much self-worth I know that I have, like, people might not want to get to know me, people might not want to be around me, and that's totally fine. So I'm learning how to like deal with that. And I feel like also, like I said, that comes from a void that I had in my childhood. I was younger, like when I was used to be around like my mom's side of the family, because I predominantly grew up more around them than my dad's. Like, so yeah, at first I was always around them. Like, I would always hang out with my cousins, and you know, I would love to be around them. But as I got older, like probably like once I had moved to Ohio, and then I moved to New York a little bit, and I was around them. And then when I moved with them in Philly, like I was very, very, very isolated. I was very to myself. Like, I would barely want to be around them or around anybody in that matter, just because I just liked being by myself. I enjoyed it, and I didn't know how to handle people's energies. I didn't know how to handle people's personalities. I was going through a lot of internal things where I was just like, what the fuck is going on with me? Like, so yeah, so it's just always been like that for me. Like, I've always liked isolation. And even with my siblings too, like when I mean, obviously I lived with them. When I was younger, I lived with them up until I was like maybe like in my early 20s, because I moved around a lot. But even with them, like I was very like I would always stay in my room. I would obviously interact with them, like I would talk to them, but I wouldn't hang out with them as much, because I just always needed my alone time. Um, you know, that's something to this day too that I kind of like regret, because I wish I could have like spent more time with them and like got to know them better and give them the opportunity to get to know me, because I feel like growing up all we really had was each other, because my mom was always working and she wasn't really emotionally present. Like, she provided for us, but she wasn't really emotionally available. As well as my father, like he wasn't really present physically or emotionally, because he had his own family separate from my mom. So, you know, I kind of wish that I would have been there for them. But, you know, we're closer now, so that's all that matters. You live and you learn. But yeah, that's how I've just always been. So, but I'm learning now to like not isolate myself too much. And it's a learning process, just like everything. But now I don't mind being around people. I do like being around like my close friends. I don't have the luxury of being around like my siblings and my mom, who I cherish very much because they live in Ohio. I do have some um, cousins that live in Philadelphia, New York. I'm not really close to my cousins that live in Philly. I used to be close with them, and then the ones in New York, like I barely. I used to like travel to New York all the time, but I barely have the energy to do that, let alone go to work. So I don't see them as much as I used to. But yeah, now I don't mind being around people. It just really depends on my mood. But now I know obviously how to like protect myself and how to like build my energy up to tolerate certain energies and certain personalities and to just like also be myself and showcase the light that I have. And I do have a fun, goofy personality and I do have a vibrant personality. You know, it's just like when I get in my little moods and when I'm going through things or when I'm feeling other energies, it gets subdued and I get very like very much in my shell, but I've learned how to like get out of that. But thank you guys so much for watching my video. I also have a little announcement to make. I'm finally working on a new poetry book. It will be a two-part poetry book. One part will be released and I'm gonna try to release it around May, earliest May, latest June. And the second part of the book will be released sometime in the fall, hopefully either mid-October, early November. But the title of the book will be called Lunar. So there will be Lunar Part 1 and then Lunar Part 2. So be on the lookout for that. And yeah, once again, thank you for watching. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, like, share it with your friends, colleagues, family. Thank you.